Hello, and welcome to the Being Human podcast, where we explore what it means to truly be human, physically, mentally, and spiritually. We upload an episode of this podcast every single week, so hit that subscribe or follow button. You do not want to miss any of these episodes. On this episode of the podcast, I sat down with Matt Locke. Matt is a student of psychology and an extreme sportsman. Me and Matt came to know each other from basically beating each other up in competition. We have faced one another on the mat officially 3 times. All have been spectacular public affairs, all out back and forth wars, and we've forged a friendship in the fire through those. Matt, as I mentioned, is an extreme sportsman. MMA and BJJ is not his first sporting endeavour. Matt has been involved in things such as b-boy, parkour and snowboarding throughout his entire life. Matt was born here in the UK in the south of England, but moved to France in his teenage years. He talked to us about what that was like, having to learn French. He was in a French-speaking school. Well, actually, first he was in a different school where he learnt more Russian than he did French, but that's a separate story that he told. He moved back out to France and did 7 ski seasons in the French Alps. And Matt talks about the lifestyle of basically living the ski seasons out there. He would ski, snowboard, go on the slopes in the day, and then work in a bar at night. And he told us about some of the sneaky advantages of being bilingual. He could pretend he was French, he could pretend he was English. It sounds absolutely wild how they live out there for those seasons. So it was really interesting to hear about that. Matt has also lived in places such as Brazil, Portugal. He talks about how him and his girlfriend just packed up one day, drove all the way from the UK to Portugal, had basically no money. Matt is now a student of psychology, and Matt talks about how he likes to look at human psychology from an evolutionary standpoint, something that really aligns with my own thinking as well. Matt and I share a lot of similar viewpoints, so we went off onto lots of tangents. He talked about the obesity crisis, lots of elements to do with mental health, human psychology, and really just all round the crisis of human health in this part of the world. Really fun conversation. Like I said, me and Matt are both quite left field in our thinking, probably a bit out there to most people. May get us cancelled, but there you go. Here it is. Enjoy it while it's here. If you do enjoy the conversation, make sure to hit that subscribe button, like, comment, hit 5 stars, whatever the mechanisms are. Show some love, support Being Human, support the channel, be a part of the community. Thank you for supporting. Thank you for watching and listening. Being Human.
Yeah, I'm nervous, not going to lie. I've started sweating.
Yeah. Take off the beads. Shows the beads.
It's coming off.
Shows the beads. Yeah.
Oh, go on then, bro.
Right. So,
Where are we starting?
Yeah, well, again, let's start at the start.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't have questions written down for this one.
Yeah.
Do.
Nah, cool, man.
We're going to go off on all kinds of tangents.
Yeah, mate, absolutely.
But we've got to make sure that we do justice to the, how old are you?
27.
To the 27 years of life that Matthew Locke has had on this earth so far. 'Cause it's been a pretty wild ride from what I've gathered so far. So we've got to get into all of that.
Yeah.
I've got to hear all about it.
Who told you that? Where'd you hear that from?
Mr. Riley Daniels, mostly.
Right, man. He's exposing me out there.
Yeah, he's exposed you. He's exposed you.
Cool.
A very top G-esque lifestyle in
common
many
knowledge.
ways.
Oh, no, I don't know about that. Lowercase G, maybe. But yeah, it's been all right. It's been all right. There's been some twists and turns. I've never let myself get too comfortable, I think is definitely a big thing. Yeah, I've always dotted around and jumped around as much as I can. I've probably got a bit of a commitment issue, I mean? In the sense of the word, yeah. So when I decided to come to uni and move to Nottingham, that was like, okay, I'm signing the contract here for like 3 years of my life. And don't get me wrong, I've almost dropped out of uni like so many times. I was like, wow, like I'm going to be in one place for 3 years. Like,
and is that the most
insane.
time you've committed yourself to one place?
Yeah, since I left home.
Let's go back to so where were you born? Because you've been here, there, and everywhere. Where were you born, and where did you grow up?
I was born in Plymouth. Yeah,
Plymouth.
Down south, southwest, proper Jana. Man, Plymouth, Cornwall. Southwest boy. Which I still. Yeah, my parents basically born and raised down there, and my parents have now decided to move back to that sort of area. So if I am going to see my parents, I'm going back to the southwest, and then I can catch up with a few other mates that I grew up with and stuff. From southwest.
And throughout your childhood, were you dotting around a lot, as you said?
Yeah, to be fair. So where I started, I think I started originally in Plymouth, then moved down into Cornwall, then back in, I think every 5, 6, 7 years we'd go to a new house or something would change and we'd move. And then when I was 14, my parents just out of nowhere, they were like, we're moving to France. I was like, shit. Okay.
was this down to work and business, or were your parents just kind of very nomadic in nature?
Some of it, yeah, I think so as well. Yeah, they like to move around a little bit. They like to do it at properties. Like they'll buy a place, do it up, make it amazing. I'll be like, oh, this house is nice, and then I was selling it. What? So yeah, that's happened a few times. But when I was 14, they decided, they were like, right, we're gonna move to France. I think as well, I think they looked at my future and where I was, and I wasn't amazing in school. I was, I wasn't bad kids, but yeah, I was getting into a little bit of trouble maybe. And they were like, right, let's just nip this in the bud and just absolutely turn his life on his head. You know what I mean? Which is good, man. Like, I don't think I'd be who I am today. I don't think I'd be where I am today without that change. And that's kind of what set me off, I think, with just changing, traveling, doing different things, just growing a bit as a person. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, and it did really sort of fix me up, because you go from kids in the UK get away with murder, they really do, and then within 6 months of being in French school, I'd had like pencil cases like smashed off my head by the teachers and that. Like, yeah, they don't care. Like, school in Europe's different. Yeah, if you act up, like you're gonna get in trouble, and yeah, they will hit you. They'll be
so they're much more old school, literally old school.
Yeah, just how it should be, mate. I think.
Yeah. A lot more discipline,
man. Yeah, 100% discipline
and cultures.
Very cultured.
I think the two maybe go tandem.
Yeah, I think I'd say France is probably like 50 years behind the UK. If you want to get stuff done, everything's still like done via the post. If you want to like send off for a health card or something, you're sending things off in the post. They've not reached the online stage yet of like, it's still very, it's about 50 years behind, I'd say.
Yeah, I think France has a very interesting culture from what I know. Not that, I've been to France once and it was Disneyland Paris. I'm not an expert on French culture.
Yeah.
From what I hear from people,
yeah.
My granddad worked for Peugeot all of his life.
Yeah.
So we went on a lot of business trips to France and worked with French people a lot, obviously, with it being a French company. And he said he never saw a French man under stress. That's what he always said. He said, I never saw a French man under stress.
Mate,
lunch would come around, pens down, go out to lunch.
Absolutely. A few glasses of wine at lunch, then back on the tools. Yeah, mate, 100%. Yeah.
But stuff still gets done.
At a slower rate. Yeah.
It's not, you know what I mean? They're not in economic...
No.
I don't know. There might be an economic crisis, but they're still there. You know what I mean? They're not in the third world.
Yeah, no, they can protest, bro. They can protest.
The French, they love a protest, don't they?
Mate, they took all their horse cow shit and just sprayed it all over the government buildings. They can protest.
Yeah, they do like a protest. My brother's actually been saying recently, because we hypothesise about, where we're going to settle down, where we're going to live, because. There's a thing at the moment, isn't there, that the West's in crisis, and maybe it can be overblown, but I do think there is something to that. The walls are falling down in more ways than one.
Yeah.
Especially in terms of public health, I think, number one.
Yeah.
But we hypothesise, where would we live? If we had unlimited money, where are we moving to today? And he's saying France. Let's go to France. Another protest, so the government's never going to oppress you too much.
Man.
They've got a much healthier way of living. The south of France, much better climate. Good culture, good geography. The whole 9 yards.
Yeah, they smoke, they drink, they sin. Do you know what I mean? Like, they've got their, but like, again, I'm straight away going back to, or going straight to the processed foods, man. Like they don't really have that as much. You know what I mean? Like,
because that's it. They eat bread all day.
They do.
But
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's from ancient grains, fermented grains. It's sourdough. It's not full of the seed oils and all the added naughties that are put into British bread and American bread. it's homemade. It's made from basic ingredients. That makes a big difference.
Yeah.
People, a lot of people who tell you the studies say that a loaf of bread's a loaf of bread. No, you look on the back of a loaf of bread. Hovis, for example, there's like 100 ingredients on there.
Yeah.
You go to a French baker's, it's what? Flour, water, yeast.
Yeah,
that's it.
How it should be. It's been prepared. Like the guy, the baker's in there. They're still doing that at 3-4 in the morning. They'll be up making the bread, and it goes. It's not like there's not this big process. You can still go to the pâtisserie or whatever and go get your bread that's been freshly made, and it's just not going through this whole big like chain of like mass produced. So and you walk around like, okay, it's a bit biased for me because like where I spent a lot of my time now as an adult in France, I've been living in Chamonix, which it's a sports town. Everyone's pretty fit and healthy.
Yeah. I guess it's almost kind of like its own country. Is that the right? It's its own region for sure. It's kind of detached from the rest of France purely by the state of its geography, right? It's up in the mountains. So I'm guessing it's quite isolated.
Yeah. It is, and it attracts a lot of people that are into their extreme sports. And so it's a bit biased because I walk around town, I walk up and down the high street, I don't see anyone who's got is obese. Do you know what I mean? Like you don't really see that. Walk around Paris, you probably get a different kind of you get a different impression probably. But no, it's not like just you walk down the high street in any UK city and everyone's a bit pale and they're shuffling around with clutching their Gregs and an energy drink, and it's like, whoa, bro, like come on. But again, like we were saying earlier, like cool. I'm doing my things, you know what I mean? And I feel good. I feel amazing. I feel healthy. So I'm just gonna crack on and continue down my path, and we'll keep the 6-packs to us. We'll keep those.
Yeah, that's it. More abs for us.
Yeah, exactly, man. Yeah, exactly. So
But when you first moved to France, then you were how old?
14.
Yeah. And obviously, you mentioned just that you've spent the portion of your adult life that you have in France, in Chamonix. Yeah. Where did you move to originally, though?
So we moved to it's like in the middle of France. Absolutely nothing going on. It's just cows and fields basically. So it was like halfway between the Limousin and the Dordogne, which is like halfway in between. There was just nothing to do. So straight away when I got there, I was like the English kid. There was maybe a few other like families that had migrated there from the UK as well. It's quite a popular spot for people emigrating to France.
Expats.
I don't know what that really means, that word, to be fair.
I hear it thrown around
a
lot.
Same, yeah.
I think
expat. Go for it, expat. So it's popular space for that. And
why is that?
I don't know. I think it's just they just seem to congregate there.
It sounds a lot like Britain, cows and fields.
Yeah. It's a bit warm.
French without it being too French.
Nice, man.
British grounding of
don't get me wrong.
Cows.
Don't get me wrong. Like everyone is very much French. It's very much French countryside. Anyway, I got put in straight away to like an international school, which was supposedly designed for me to go and learn French with a bunch of, like, I sat in the class there and everyone's Chinese, Macedonian, Ukrainian, Canadian, Somalian, everyone Russian. My best mate was like some Russian kid. And to get to that, so straight away, I've been going from living in the UK, moved to France, and then I was straight away told I need to go get up at like 5 a.m, go and get a train by myself all the way from this town called Saint-Thierry to Limoges, which is where I was going to school, which was like an hour or two on the train on my own as a 14-year-old kid, couldn't speak the language, do you know what I mean? I think that's what started setting me off, just being a bit more like independent and out there and just being like, oh, I need to grow up now, do you know what I mean? And then I go and sit in the train station. The train would get me in at like 7 a.m. The school wouldn't open till 8. I'm sat in France. I don't know what's going on, like just in a freezing cold train station sort of thing, waiting for school to open. And I went there for like 3 or 4 months. And then my parents took me out of that school because I wasn't learning any French, because everyone else in the class was different, from different nationalities, different areas of the world. Like I said, my friend who was Russian, I started coming home speaking a bit of Russian. Yeah. Mum was like, hold on, put the brakes on this. Like, what's going on? Like, what are you doing in that class? I'm like, look, I'm just hanging with my boy. Like, we can't communicate. Do you know what I mean? Because I don't speak Russian. He doesn't speak English. We don't, like, Do you know what I mean? We're both trying to learn French. Like it wasn't really working out. So yeah.
So it was a real mixed bag.
Yeah. Yeah. Just got
not everyone there spoke English, like you said. So
no.
So you're having to find different ways of communicating. How did you communicate with someone like that, where you didn't have a shared language?
It's just a lot of pointing, and I don't know. It's really broken. Yeah, really broken up. But you do, to find a commonality, like a common way to communicate, you are eventually forced to speak French, because that's like you're there for that reason, sort of thing. So we try and like figure things out. But yeah, it was just a lot of pointing and just kind of like making stuff up. But yeah, and I got taken out of that school after like 3 or 4 months.
Was it?
There you go. Happy days. Hello. Yeah. So I got taken out of there like 3 or 4 months in. Got put into like a traditional French school, which was closer to home. And yeah, just I think within 6 months I was like fluent. I could just speak French. Yeah, it was pretty cool. And yeah, it was an interesting experience. I think it definitely put a big turning point on my life, and made me, I think, made me who I am today. Definitely helped.
It's a radical move, isn't it?
Yeah.
If most parents, if their teenage son is getting into a bit of trouble, they'll sit them down, have a conversation with them, ground them for a month.
Yeah.
Your parents decided to move you to France.
Yeah, we're just like, we're gone. Yeah.
But like you said, a radical move, but clearly worked.
It did work, yeah. And I don't think, I know I've met people throughout traveling and just life who've also been through similar things with very much like more extreme cultures, like UK to France. Like, it's not far. It's not really that far to get to. It's only next door in terms of like, you just nip over the channel, you're in France.
It's still the Western world.
It is, yeah, exactly. It's not like an extreme move, but still, it definitely did the trick. Just adapting to something new, like a new life, a new culture, just a whole new spread of just a way of living, sort of thing. And I learned most of my French, because basically you can drive on the road when you're 14 in Europe, as in like 50s, like mopeds, stuff like that. So straight away I was like, okay, I need to get my motorbike license so I can like hang with the boys, sort of thing. So straight away I don't know how I'm still alive to this day, a 14-year-old on the roads on a motorbike. Your prefrontal cortex is got so much time to develop. Do you know what I mean? Like, you are not thinking straight. So motorbikes, skating, and smoking a lot of hash as well. That's how I learned my French, basically. I keep it topped up to this day. That's another thing that I think really helped grow me as a person as well. Learning a different language. Yeah, that's a big one.
Did you get to the point, because you said when you switched to the French school, within 6 months, you were basically fluent. I'm only fluent in one language, unfortunately. But I've been told that when you get to a point of fluency in another language, you'll start thinking and even dreaming in that other language.
100%.
So I suppose you don't so much now, because you you live in England.
Yes.
But when you're in France, even when you spent your summers in Chamonix, were you thinking in French, dreaming in French?
When I was younger, yes. When I was in school, when my whole 80% of my day, 90% of my day consisted on living, breathing, everything in French. So I was dreaming in French. You get your mind into this groove, and suddenly that's it. Do you know what I mean? It just adapts to what's around you, your environment. Not so much now. Even I'll go back to France now. Like, if I'm doing a season in the summer, it will take me like a week maybe to just kind of like dust off the cobwebs a little bit and get into the flow. But within a week, after a week or so, I'm just straight back in there. It feels good as well. It's a mental what's the word? It's a very good mental like gymnastic. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's switching to another language.
Well, it must give you, because obviously I'm trying to comprehend it because I don't have an experience of it. It must give you a different perspective on life.
Yeah.
Because two languages, they never kind of match up as equal. They've got different ways of saying things.
Yeah.
The language is built off, going back to culture, different cultures, different ways of doing things, different ways of perceiving the world.
Yeah.
So yeah, it must give you a different perspective on life.
Yeah,
right?
man, 100%.
Yeah,
100%. I think 14 as well. That's just about the cutoff point where you can really like pick it up, and then sound like you're a native.
Because you do when you speak French. I've only heard snippets, but you sound like a Frenchman.
Yeah, more or less. Yeah.
Because I even questioned. I was like, Matt Locke is not a French name.
Nah,
but is he French?
Yeah, no, not quite. Yeah, if I'm on the bar working, like, I'll play a little bit of a game. If I'm chatting to people, I'm like,
Matthias Locke.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, if I'm speaking to some girls or something.
Or was it Matthew? Like, what's the French equivalent of your name?
Mathieu.
Mathieu.
Yeah, Mathieu. Voilà, Mathieu Locke. Yeah.
There's no French for Locke.
No, Locke. Yeah, that's it. So, I like to play a bit of a game sometimes when I'm working on the bars and stuff. I might speak in French, but then put on an English accent in French, even though I don't need to. Do you know what I mean? Just to kind of, I don't know, I'm just flirting, man. Yeah, man. It's good fun. Yeah. And then sometimes I go the other way, like if you've got some English people at the bar, they're being annoying, I'll pretend I'm French and I can't really speak English a little bit. Guys, come on, it is a closing time, you need to go.
It's a good tool to deploy. You can use it both ways. I guess you can open doors, or you can use it to close them as well.
Yes, sir, absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, man, I love it. So yeah. So
14 years old,
yes, sir.
Now fluent in French.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you go from there? Because at what point did you start getting into extreme sports?
Oh, deep. Wow, man.
Was that even before? Was that still? Did you like surf when you lived in Cornwall and Plymouth?
No. If I think right back to the start, I think I started I love parkour. Started with just jumping off stuff and flips and whatever, and then. Sure enough, there was a time period from maybe, 2008 to, 2012. I'm really guessing here, breakdancing was a big thing in the UK, Step Up. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Step Up. Yeah. And breakdance was the coolest thing. And it still is, man. People who can B-boys, man, it's cool.
But it was a wave because, Kieran, he must have got into it at the same time as you, because he said he started breakdancing and he went quite far with it.
Who was that, sorry?
Kieran, Kieran Fall.
Kieran?
Yeah, big beard, long hair. You know him if you saw him.
He
moved away last year.
Okay,
yeah. Used to come to Instagram. I don't know if he came to Knots anytime to train.
Rings a bell.
Yeah, you know him if you saw him.
Okay.
But yeah, he did all the b-boy stuff, and he said he's.
Oh yeah, I've talked to I talked to him at Intergrapple about it, I think.
Yeah. And he said what got him into it was he went to watch Step Up with his friends. We've got to do that.
Yeah.
So I think there definitely was a wave. So is that where?
I was into it a bit before that, to be fair. By the time the wave was happening,
you were ahead of the game.
I was ahead of the game, man. Yeah. I just got super. I got super into it. I was part of a crew, Beat Breakers in Plymouth. I was 13, 11, 12, 13 in nightclubs, doing
really
crazy.
So is this the trouble that got you sent off to France?
No, it wasn't really. I had that life kind of parallel because I was doing so basically. I grew up in a place called Callington, which is in Cornwall, where I went to school and where I lived. Then I'd go to Plymouth to do my breakdancing, and I was 14. I was probably between 10 and 13. This was, and I was hanging out when I was in Plymouth doing the breakdancing. I was hanging out with a lot of people that were older than me because they were sort of early 20s, late teens sort of thing. So I was always the baby, and that was I've always been very, very much comfortable with being the baby. I like to be the baby, which is different now because I've flipped around. I'm at uni now, and now I'm not really the adult. I don't like it. It's horrible. I've got to be a role model. Anyway, so I was hanging out with people a lot older than me, and we were traveling around doing lots of breakdancing shows and stuff like that. And I took that with me when I went to France. So yeah, that was another thing that got me kind of like indoctrinated into the French culture and way of life.
So were you having like formal tuition in this stuff, or were you just kind of picking it up on the fly?
Man. Yeah, 100%. And like I said, like I was already like very into like parkour and like the flips and stuff like that, and it all just worked out.
So you just like wormed your way in. What's the word I'm looking for? You just kind of did this all off your own back on the fly at a very young age.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah,
like 10, 11, 12 years old. You were just kind of going out, finding people in the park and picking up like that?
Yes, no. My mum definitely, you know, she drove me around and stuff. She was, you know, supported in that way because, you know, it's a positive outlet to have. And yeah, that was a big portion of my life. And like I said, we'd go touring around doing battles and all these shows and nightclubs, and it was crazy, man. It was a really cool experience to look back on. And the guys still do it. Do you know what I mean? Like they're still doing it down in Plymouth, and they're killing it as well. It was still back in the days where we'd go out to somewhere, like we'd meet at a spot in the middle of Plymouth, and there'd be like we'd get out like the vinyl, was it just slippery surface? Do you know what I mean? Like the vinyl, and some guy would rock up with a drum kit, and they just like lay down a beat, and everyone would just be jamming and stuff like that, like proper like old school stuff, man. It was really cool. And then when I went to France, like I said, that continued, and the hip hop culture in France and the b-boy culture in France is like super high level. They're very much into their b-boy, so that was cool. Like as soon as I got into France, another thing that kind of like mixed me into the culture a little bit. And another cool way to learn French was going like breakdance with all the locals and stuff, which was sick. Yeah. I can't. My thing used to be head spins, man. Like I had some sick head spins.
Good base for jits, man. Good base for jits. Very acrobatic.
Man.
A lot of neck strength to be able to do head spins.
100%. Yeah, it does. You know, you see a few guys transitioning. You know the Freak brothers, like Eddie Bravo's guys?
Yeah.
Gio and
Gio Martinez. He came from breakdancing, didn't he?
Yes, mate. So I'd seen those guys on YouTube, like when I was into b-boying, so like, I knew who they were.
Really? Wow! So you knew them as b-boys?
I knew who they were, and then years later, I saw they were super high level jiu-jitsu guys. Now I'm like, okay, yeah.
Is that where the seed was planted for you, or were you already into jits at this point?
Oh, no. Sorry, no, I saw them in b-boy and just whatever, didn't think about it. Then years later, I'm into jiu-jitsu and I saw them. And I'm like, oh shit, like these boys, they're b-boys. Like, oh, I recognize them. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, that was cool. That's actually my shameless, claim to fame. My name drop is Eddie Bravo follows me on Instagram.
Does he?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Don't know why.
I did not know this.
I don't know, mate. I don't know. Random.
Just be throwing that around the gym.
I know. I do. I like to bring it up now and again. Oh, come on. We he just followed me.
That's cool.
Yeah, mate. But I think maybe, I don't know, because I used to have a lot of b-boy stuff on my Instagram. Maybe went through and had a look, and he's like, oh, no, he's in jiu-jitsu. We'll see where this guy goes.
Yeah.
I've gone nowhere so far.
You have to bring him on next time.
We chat a little bit, I guess.
So
yeah.
Look, teenage years in France, doing parkour, doing your b-boy stuff.
Extreme sports.
What's then the transition into kind of like early adulthood from like 14 to 18 years old?
What was I doing? Then, so basically, like I moved. My parents, after about 3 years, so their job in France was they were estate agents for people looking to emigrate to France. They were taking like English clients, finding them homes in France, etc. But this was not long after, so it was like 2010, 2011, not long after the economic
financial crisis.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So no one had money to move out to France. So it was built on commission. Do you know what I mean? So like people weren't really moving out. So business wasn't going that well. So yeah, after about 3 years, they sacked it in. They were just like, right, we're going to move back to the UK. I'd just done So I left at the end of year 9. I just started doing my GCSEs, and they took me out, just moved me to France. So never achieved my GCSEs. Went to France, did the French version of like GCSEs. Then I did a year homeschooling, which my mum taught me all of my English GCSEs in 1 year. So almost did the English GCSEs, left the UK, did French GCSEs, the equivalent.
And you did those?
Yeah. And then
completed them.
Yeah, and then as I was coming back to the UK, my mum self-taught, like she taught me all of the curriculum for the UK GCSEs.
Oh wow!
So yeah, I had to come in and like sit as an external student in a random school in the UK just to do my GCSEs, which then allowed me to go to sixth form.
Right.
Yeah.
So you couldn't go to sixth form in England off the back of the French equivalents?
Nah. Yeah.
Really?
No. Even though no. Yeah. No. I had to get. I think maybe I don't know. I think my mum just wanted me to have.
Yeah.
Like,
she wanted you to have English GCSEs.
Yeah. So yeah, I had a year at home school to get my GCSEs in the UK. And then, yeah, so we moved back to the UK, but we moved to a completely different area. So I was born and raised in Cornwall, went to France, and then we moved 3 years later, we moved back to the UK, but we moved to Suffolk. So, yeah, again, I had to restart my whole life again, meet new people, friends, go to sixth form as a 16, 17-year-old. So, yeah, that was interesting. But again, it just works because schools that it acts as is really good for that mechanism. You go into it's the same place every day. You're going to meet friends. Do you know what I mean? As soon as you leave school, it becomes a bit different. So yeah. 2 years at sixth form there in Suffolk, which was cool.
Were you used to moving around at this point, or was it still like fairly uncomfortable?
Nah, I love it, man. I love that.
You'd already kind of fallen in love with like a what's the word I'm looking for? Like a semi-nomadic lifestyle.
Yeah. I loved it when my parents said, like, when it was first proposed to me that I was going to be moved out of the UK and moved to France when I was younger. Like, I despised my parents. I'm like, when you're 14, you're just on the precipice of whatever, puberty,
coming of age,
going out, drinking, getting in, like whatever, girls, I don't know, everything. 14 is like quite a pinnacle moment.
Yeah, definitely.
So taking you out and just like replanting you somewhere else that was tough. And like, yeah, at the end, then I grew to enjoy it. Then it was cool. And then like, we're moving back to the UK. And I was like, I was quite happy with that idea, to be fair. I couldn't really see too much of a future for myself in France. That in that spot where I was, there wasn't much going on. Like I said, it was countryside. So I was quite at home with the idea of moving back to the UK. Yeah, I was happy with that. So yeah, that was quite welcoming. So yeah. Then did sixth form, and then from there just started going a bit mental. Just started going a bit mental.
Go on there, tell us about that.
Well, I was just like, right, okay, cool. So everyone's going to uni. I was like, nah, I'm never going to go to uni, man. Like, that's not me. I want to go to uni. I don't want to.
Too mainstream.
No, yeah.
Too much of a normal life.
Yeah. Nah, no way. I was like, I'm not getting ushered into some degree that I'm not going to use, or I don't want to be there. And Mum was like, you could do French. I'm like, yeah, I'll breeze it. But like, so what?
That would be boring. 3 years, right?
Yeah, exactly. So,
and it's not like an A level where you could just take the exam for a degree. I don't think. If you were to do a French degree, you'd have to do it over 3 years. Whereas A levels, like, you could just book in for an A level French exam and just take the exam.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I did French A levels. Yeah. The oral was sick. I just smashed it.
I mean, I got an E in my first year at French.
Yeah. That was it. Just like
that was it. I got an A star at GCSE, and my French tutor or my French teacher told me, you'll do really well at French. Do French at A level.
Yeah.
The problem is, I don't think I was actually a good linguist.
Okay.
I've got a very good memory.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
And how they do it at GCSE, because it's not like you have to actually, you of course don't have to be fluent in the language.
Yeah.
You know what the oral exam's on, the subject it's on, you know the written exam, the subject it's on.
Yeah.
So you just prepared answers in French, which your teacher would help you with.
Mm.
And then I was just so good at I could memorize those word for word. And then write them out in the exam or speak them in the exam.
Yeah.
Which is why I did so well at it. So my A star in French at GCSE was not a reflection of my abilities as a linguist,
Okay,
more as a reflection of my ability
you just
to
knew
be
how
able
to
to
work the
memorize.
system. You just like work in the system.
Which is why I kind of gelled with exams in general. But then at A level, the step up between GCSE and A level in terms of what's required for languages, it was astronomical. And if you were to go on to the second year of an A level in a language, you were having to read books, books in the language, and I'd got an E at AS level, and I thought, this is going to
you can no longer get away with, my name is Aaron, I like to go to the swimming pool, where is the library? Like, you don't get away with that anymore.
It was exactly that.
I did really well on my oral. I smashed it because the topic I was given, or I could choose, was like give an argument for the legalization of cannabis, and I was like, God, easy. I didn't even take any notes in. I was like,
tailor-made.
Exactly. So with the written exam, like, you had to like watch a film and like interpret the film and and I don't think I even watched the film. I was like, whatever, I've smashed it. So I came away with a B overall, and I was like, I could have probably done better. But yeah, again, I got my A levels, and I was like, I'm never going to use these marks. I'm never going to go to uni. Why would I go to uni? Stupid. So yeah, I went and started because I've been snowboarding as well for probably been snowboarding. I started when I was like 6.
So where were you snowboarding?
When I was young. Just like holidays once a year. We'd have one family holiday a year because my stepdad loved skiing. So have one family holiday a year, and we'd go to wherever, like just a holiday. Yeah, you know.
Okay, so it feels like you're not driver, because obviously you wanted to do this stuff, but it seems like your family was very kind of supportive of getting you into extreme sports and helping you do this stuff. Like your mum driving you around to do all your b-boy stuff, and then you go on holidays to learn how to snowboard. That's really cool, because I think it would have been very difficult to pursue these things or get into these things without family support.
Oh yeah, like, don't get me wrong, like, it's all, I think everyone in some way a product of their parents, and like my family life's like, it's not too bad. Do you know what I mean? No struggle in the sense of there's not been any struggle in terms of the family, but there's been struggle for me, as in getting replanted in France and starting a new life and having to start over again. But that's just something that's grown me off a good base. And again, I'm an only child. I've got no family really. I've got my mum, my stepdad, and my mum's mum, and that's it. Like, I don't really have any cousins that I know, or aunts, uncles. Like, don't really have that. So the family is very small. So yeah, it's funny because I've got no siblings, and I do some wild stuff. And my mum's got or my parents don't have anyone to compare me to. Do you know what I mean? So I tell them absolutely everything I do. And they're always like, oh, they've got no one to compare me to. They can't say like, oh, I wish you were like your older brother. I'm just like, this is it.
Yeah, you've got free reign. The canvas is blank.
Oh, this is as good as it gets. So yeah, that's nice. It's a very small family. So yeah, they just kind of got to accept my pitfalls and whatever. So yeah,
I think that's really healthy as well, if you tell them everything you do.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like to shock them. I like to sit down at dinner.
You get a bit of a kick out of it.
Yeah. And I'm like, yo, this happened. I'm like, what? I'm like, yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that's fun. Snowboarding. Been snowboarding a little bit my whole life. Skating as well. I love skating. And then when it was time for everyone to go to uni and stuff, I was like, nah, ski season. Just gonna do one. I'm just gonna do one. That's it. 7 ski seasons later, or whatever it is, 6. I'm just like, oh man, it's fun. It's fun, like travel. Just again, starting a new life somewhere, like doing something a bit different. And it's always been centered around a sport as well. So yeah, started with my first ski season. That was loose, always bar work as well.
Where did you do that?
Maribel, which is it's in the French Alps. Really nice resort. Worked at a bar there. This is when I started drinking a lot and partying quite a lot, because everyone out there, when you're on a season, it's loose, man. It's very loose. Yeah, it's very loose. Like work,
So I'm guessing like the lifestyle was like you'd work your nights in the bar and your days would be spent just out on the slopes.
You've got two ways really. I think people go when they go on their first season, especially. You can either work in a chalet, which means you're catering for guests that have paid tens of thousands to be in this chalet, and you've got to be up every morning doing the cooking, cleaning, making sure everything's good for the guests, and then you get like a few hours a day to go snow or go ski, do whatever you want to do, and then you've got to be back in the evening, be relatively presentable. So you could go down that pathway, or you could like bar work. With bar work, you got your whole day off because the bar won't open till like the afternoon, so you just go ride all day, happy days, start work, get absolutely battered on shift.
On shift?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, goodness. Yeah, man. Yeah.
So that's brilliant then, because I guess it doesn't even really feel like you're working half the time, right?
No. It's just like I feel like
you're getting paid to get leathered.
Yeah.
That's an 18-year-old.
Oh man, yeah, it was cool. It's and obviously then you can choose if you want to go hard. Then it's your choice if you want to wake up the next day and go snowboarding. I was very disciplined. I love snowboarding, so I'd always be the one to call it a day early most of the time. And I'm like, look, it's going to be a nice day tomorrow, and I want to be up and early and get some rides in. So. That's But then everyone else, some people are built for it. Some people they'll be out all night just.
I don't know how people do it.
I can't do it. Like, if I don't get my sleep, man, I suck the next day.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to get up early. You're not.
No. I'm just like a fraction of the man I need to be. Do you know what I mean?
I don't have that robustness.
No, man, no.
Robust.
Yeah. And these guys, they're out there, pills, everything, just all night, bam, and then they'll just get up the next day on the mountain,
crack
what?
right back on.
Yeah, man, yeah. Oh,
and sorry, not cracking back on, going to a 9 to 5, sitting behind a computer,
no,
doing something.
Yeah.
Incredible. How do I put this? Extremely dangerous.
Yeah.
Physically,
man.
And mentally engaging.
Oh, yeah.
One wrong move and
man.
paralysis or
death. Yeah.
These are wild people.
I've got a few mates. I look at them and I'm like, how are you still alive?
And I say they're wild people. You're one of those people because you may not have been staying out all night. You were still. Your days were spent doing something incredibly high octane, and then your evening was high octane as well, in a different way.
Yeah, man.
So that's a crazy life, man.
Yeah, no, it's cool. It's It's I had fun. I think I'm over it now. I say that it's just because I've got this thing to do because I'm at uni. I would like to say I'm over it and I've grown out of it, but I don't know. As soon as I'm let out the cage again, do you know what I mean? I might just go straight back to it like some feral animal. But what's always brought me back to baseline is having something that I'm passionate about doing. I love snowboarding. It's the best thing. I love jiu-jitsu. It's the best thing. It brings me back. I get crazy, I get wild, I get loose, but I'm so passionate about doing this sport or whatever it is that I'm into at the time that I'm always off doing that. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, that's good. I'm glad it fell into something like that because it could have been something unhealthy. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it definitely it keeps me based, I reckon.
Yeah, it's a chaotic lifestyle, which usually, if you say someone's got a chaotic lifestyle, that doesn't sound like a positive. That doesn't sound like a compliment. But I think in your case, that seems like a very healthy, fulfilling lifestyle.
Yeah.
And there's few circumstances where heavy drinking, binge drinking every night would be.
Yeah. God, yeah.
Yeah, but I can't lie. It sounds like a very attractive lifestyle, even for someone like me who doesn't really drink.
Yeah.
Up in the mountains, beautiful scenery. I imagine it's good vibes. It's not like going down to your local pub.
No, it's
raining. It's miserable.
No, yeah.
Maybe play some dominoes and then go home.
Yeah. No, it's very nice, but you've got to have that off switch. Since I've started uni and I've been going back just to Chamonix for 3 months at a time. So when I'm here, I don't really party too much, but then when I go back there, I'm like, okay, cool. I can't train right now. There's nowhere to train. There's nothing I can do about that. So I may as well just go absolutely off the rails. Yeah. And then I do that. I get out of my system. And in that last few weeks I'm there, I'm like, get me out of here. I'm really unhealthy right now. So yeah, no, it's good knowing that I have that end goal. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, okay, cool. This is a big blowout. It's a lot of fun. But as soon as I'm happy to leave. Do you know what I mean? Like, thank God. I need to get back to uni, get back to training, stuff like that. So yeah, it's good to have like a nice little outlet, let it go. And then then center things back to focus and just being a better person. Yeah.
And do you think that internal limit that you've got, is that innate? Is that just built into your personality, or is that something you had to actively cultivate? Because that's almost imperative to not just falling into a pit of self-destruction.
Yeah.
Being able to have that chaotic period, that period of enjoyment, as well as working hard as well, perfecting your craft, of course.
Yeah.
But then getting to the point where you're like, okay, I've had a lot of late nights, a lot of, consumed a lot of toxins, all of this stuff. It's time to tighten the screws and dial back in a bit.
Man. I think it's just like being self-aware, knowing what's good for you. Do you know what I mean? Listening to your body, listening to your mind, listening to your mental health, everything. You've got to be in tune with that sort of stuff. Again, this is why I love psychology. This is why my whole day is comprised of psychology in some way. Do you know what I mean?
Because just to clarify, that's what you're studying.
That is what I'm studying at uni. Sorry, I keep jumping back and forth.
No, it's all right.
But yeah, no, knowing yourself in it's so important. Delving into your mind, who you are, all these things. Well,
there's nothing more important, is there?
There's nothing more important because psychology is your whole. From the moment you open. 24 hours a day, even when you're sleeping, you've got processes, you've got cognitive things going on. The moment you open your eyes, you're using. There's some degree of psychology happening.
Well, your mind's never off. Even when you're sleeping, your subconscious is always there. It's always going.
I think and people that don't have any interest into what is going on intrinsically with them freak me out. What do you mean you don't want to try and figure this shit out? Do you know what I mean? Same people that don't exercise. I'm like, hold on, what's going on? Do you not want to? Do you not want to? It freaks me out. It really freaks me out.
People that don't want to peel back the curtain and people that don't want to look past the surface.
Yeah, man. Mate, you want to go through your whole life from birth to death and not take a second to step back and be like, who am I? What's going on in my head? What is this thing that I'm experiencing all the time? Do you know what I mean? I love to delve into that. And I think it's the most important thing you can do as a human is look into what's going on, try and understand these processes a little bit, not just take every day as benign and let it fleet by. Do you know what I mean? At least spend a few minutes each day, or just trying to figure something out. Question: how am I feeling today? What's going on? What's my mental health doing? Or etc. I think that's imperative. I don't know how I got onto that, but yeah. I'm different now. I've got the Volk on.
Yeah, you debuted it.
Yeah,
has it been debuted on the gram yet? Is this?
Not yet. I need to get a photo of me that can just absolutely shred it.
We'll get a photo after this.
Yeah, okay, sick.
With Volk.
Happy days, mate. It's good stuff. Yeah. So what was I saying? What were you saying?
Sorry. No. I was just gonna add to what you said about nothing's more important than knowing yourself.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
And I think people that aren't interested in that, it either comes out of arrogance or ignorance. You either think you know everything, you're all set. You don't need to look within because you know what's there.
Yeah.
You don't need to question, why does this work this way? Why does the world work this way? Why does the universe work this way?
Yeah.
Because, you've got it all figured out already. So it's either out of arrogance or it's out of ignorance.
Yeah.
To put it bluntly, some people almost don't have the mental capacity to question these things. They're very simple-minded, and oftentimes those people can be very happy because there can be a lot of stress that comes from trying to figure everything out. And there's some people that are so simple-minded that
They just kind of go through life on autopilot. They're happy to accept this is how this should work. This is how you should live your life. These are the steps that are laid out for you. But even those people, I think they then miss out on what they could have in life if they were able to tap into, oh, hang on, if I looked within a bit more, I might find something I'm actually really passionate about. I might be happy to do this every day. You know, it might not stress me out. I might not get really bored and fed up and depressed with it. But there could be something that's my life's calling, and I just haven't spent the time to figure out what that is. You know, again, that's looking within, but looking externally, there could be a place in the world that they haven't been to, or a way of looking at the world which enables them to interact with it in a way where they get so much more out of life. So I think people that don't want to question themselves, don't want to question the world around them, I do think they're missing out on something.
Mate, knowledge is power.
It is. And it is.
That's it. Knowledge is power. The more you're willing to, the more willing you are to accept accept other points of view, take different perspective, sit back and listen. That's the thing when you talk. I think when like arrogance, people that are arrogant just like they don't want to listen. Most of the time.
Why should I listen to someone when I have all the answers?
Exactly. But the more you listen to other people's perspectives, the more you learn. The more. This is why I love traveling, because every day is a learning day. And like when you go, you're never going to make any friends going into a new situation thinking with no time to listen. Do you know what I mean?
People don't want to just have you come into their life and impose. This is how it is. This is the truth. This is how life works. This is what's good for you. This is what's bad for you.
Man.
It's got to be an interaction.
Absolutely, 100%. It's a dance. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think again, I'd say traveling is probably one of the greatest teachers of in all senses. I think it was like John Danaher said. The man, he was like, like traveling is the greatest teacher of all. But at the same time, it's the enemy of routine, and it's the enemy of progress in some way, especially with something, for example, jiu-jitsu. The more you're traveling, the more you don't have your routine locked down. Like it's going to be hard to really progress. Do you know what I mean? Because you need to have the sleeping dialed in, the diet dialed in. These are all things that that I've experienced anyway throughout traveling for quite a long time. Is not having things dialed in, and then I'm not progressing in what I love to do because I'm so scatty and chaotic. Do you know what I mean? So
I have another mate who has travelled around quite a lot. He's South African. He came over to England when he was about 7, which is when we became friends. Then he moved back over to South Africa, and then he went to university in China, and now he's come back over here. And he said to me a phrase, I don't know if he came up with it or not, but I thought it was brilliant. He said, travelling somewhere new, going to somewhere you haven't been before, it's like seeing a colour you haven't seen before. That he said that's what it's like. It's like experiencing a different culture. It's like seeing a colour that you've never seen before. So you can't really comprehend that.
Man.
You can't comprehend what it's like to see a new colour until you see it. You've kind of seen all the colours. Maybe. Who knows? But I thought that was a brilliant way of putting it.
Yeah, man. And people can look at that colour in 2 different ways. They can either look at that colour and think, oh, like, this is a new colour. Like, I'll stare at it for a little bit, get to know it. Or you can just look at that colour and be like, oh, what's that? I don't like it. I'm not interested in that. Not interested in that new colour, and just crack on with your own with your old ways and your same path. I'm very much the opposite. I'm very much like, whoa, what's this? Like, oh, okay, get to know it. Like, what's it about? Let's understand it. Let's learn about it. What's this new colour got to offer? Do you know what I mean? So, I think breaking the mold a little bit, getting out there, and taking some risks, taking some chances, which is something I've done plenty of times. Think an example. When I was 21, I had, I think it was like 300-400 quid in my bank account. I was with my girlfriend at the time, and we just chucked a little, Volkswagen Fox, little Polo. Just that was the car I had at the time. We're like, let's move to Portugal. what I mean? This was before Brexit, when everything was a bit more simple. And just chucked all our stuff in the car, like all our stuff, all our stuff, and just drove as far south as we could, all the way through France, all the way down through Spain until we hit Portugal. We ended up in Lagos, and yeah, we had nowhere to live, nowhere to work, and I remember driving there, finally getting to the end destination where you just hit the water, you sat on the beach, we both get out of the car, go sit down, roll a joint, just like, shit, we're here now. Do you know what I mean? Like, what are we going to do? But within a week, just a bit of networking, going out, meeting people. You had a place to live, had a job, we were all set up, and that was life for the next 6 months until we ran out of money and had to come back. Big risk, risk, and you got to be a little bit crazy.
What's the negative in that? What bad has come out of that?
I mean, nothing. That was awesome. Nothing. Yeah, it was awesome. It's I just things like that. Like, I don't know, it's very compelling for me to do. I don't know why. Like, I feel very compelled to do things like that. I just want to have like cool stuff. Like, that was the thing when I was growing up. I was like, I want to be that guy who's like got some like cool stories. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's very like simple. It's just like, I want to have something cool to say. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it's led me to do some pretty cool stuff. It's been colourful so far, and we'll see. Every day is a new day. Do you know what I mean? And I try and make every day as interesting as possible. Yeah,
I do think on the topic of risk taking, we as a society are far too risk averse today.
Yep.
And it doesn't make sense because in this world today, it's the safest life there's ever been.
Yeah.
So the doors are open for you to be able to take risks.
Absolutely.
The example I always give to people, because people do worry about money so much, that's maybe the area of their life they're willing to take risks in the least. Yeah. And that's a great example that you just used about going to Portugal. £300 in the bank.
Yeah, something like that. Not a lot.
Going to a country you've never been before.
Yeah.
Most people, 99% of people are going to be thinking, that's such a dangerous situation. You get to Portugal, no money in the bank. Yeah. What happens? You become stranded in Portugal, homeless in Portugal. Where's the money going to come from? Yeah. And this is what I said. And I said this when I left the job in London. When I left the law firm, people were saying, what are you going to do for money? What are you going to do for money? Number one, I'm in a very fortunate position where I could go back, live with my family. Yeah. There was no prospect of me being homeless. But even if you didn't have that to fall back on, what I said to people, and it was obviously easy for me to say, but I stand by it to this day, it is so difficult to go homeless in this day and age. Yeah. And you're almost living proof of that. Yeah. So I want to use you as a case study. Yeah. Going to Portugal, so little money. Yeah. So many things could go wrong. Yeah. In this world today, money is so abundant. Not that everyone could become a millionaire overnight. Yeah. You'll always be able to find just something to get you by. Yeah. There's 100%. So much safety and security. Financial institutions. You'll always be able to take out a loan. Obviously, yes, that I'm not saying go get a payday loan each month in order to fuel, your whatever craziness you want to embark on. But I think some people are way too far the other way. Yeah. They think if I don't have my monthly paycheck, if I miss that for a month, if I get laid off, my life's going to fall apart. I'm going to end up on the streets. And I just think in this day and age, it's so difficult to actually get to that point. So use that to your advantage and say to yourself, if there's something I want to do, like drive to Portugal on a whim, I'm going to take that opportunity and do it.
Absolutely.
Because take those risks. Yeah. You're in a world today where you can afford to a lot more than we could back in the day.
I always say to people as well, if you're born in the UK, you automatically straight out of the womb, like you've sort of won the lottery in a way. Do you know what I mean? The pound is strong. It's a good currency to have.
No tornadoes.
No
coyotes that are going to eat you alive. There is poverty, but not. There's not really absolute poverty in the way there is in India, Africa, places like that.
You've got the NHS. If you're abroad, everything goes tits up. You can come back. You've got free healthcare. Like, it's a very good base to have. So yeah, in the sense you've won the lottery, you can afford to take risks more so than not if you're born in the UK, if your main your currency is pound sterling. Just more most places in the world you go and you've got more money than you would have done. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like if you're born in the UK, you should really get out there and take advantage of that as much as possible. But yeah, again, just I don't know. Some people don't want to. Some people just they're very complacent. I think it's comfort, man. People get too comfortable.
Yeah, we are. We
get too comfortable. We've like, as humans, in a way, like we've evolved to seek comfort, but now it's going too far in the opposite. We hit that a long time ago, and now we're getting too comfortable, and we're starting to see maybe some declines in, I don't know, just general well-being, I think. And yeah, I don't know. I've got a very pessimistic view of just generally the world.
Yeah,
unfortunately,
it's unfortunate to say, but I share that view as well.
Yeah.
I think we're on the decline.
Yeah.
People want to throw economic statistics around and all of this stuff. You know, new technological advancements, whatever. Keep them, because at the end of the day, if you're not healthy, you're not winning in any form whatsoever.
No.
And we've already said, you look outside, you walk down the street.
Yeah, man.
Society is not a picture of human health. It's far from it.
Yeah, man. 100%.
And modern living is the result of that. Lack of sunlight, not a natural whole foods diet, real food. People aren't eating real foods. Yeah. Lack of exercise, stuck inside all day, staring into a screen, sedentary. All of this stuff, it's having a massive effect.
Yeah.
And if this is what it's like now, 25 years down the line, it's ugly to think about.
Yeah, we've evolved. When I look at psychology, I take very much the evolutionary perspective on more or less everything. Humans have evolved for millions of years, certain processes, whatever, to adapt to the environment around them. And it comes down to the end of the day is what's best for reproduction and survival. Somewhere along the line, we've strayed. We hit that point where everything was sweet. And I feel like now, I think technology's got a big part to play in it. With the induction of whatever, smartphones, social media, everything. I just feel like it's a catalyst for just chaos. Absolute
and
chaos.
Not the Matlock kind.
No. But no. Bad. It's bad.
Yeah.
Even me, like, I study. I'm fairly well read on my. I'm doing it for my project at the moment for my degree. Just like social media and its interaction with human psychology. I'm very well read on like the dangers, and I feel like I can take a step back and I recognise what's going on. I understand the processes. It's very addictive, and you've got X, Y, Z happening when you're staring at a screen. I scroll on Instagram. Oh no, it's terrible. Like it's so bad for you. I'm still scrolling.
You still get pulled into it.
And I know about it. I'm like, I should. Oh man, it's bad.
That shows how powerful it is.
Yeah.
We know.
Yeah.
We you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's some people out there, and I can't believe this is a point of contention, that think it doesn't matter what you eat, as long as you stay under your calories, you're absolutely sound.
Yeah.
So you can have a McDonald's if you don't have anything else for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Thankfully, we have common sense, and we know a McDonald's is unhealthy for us, no matter how much of it you're having.
It is, yeah.
I still have a McDonald's.
Yeah,
I still
have
McDonald's.
Yeah, if I'm hungover, I'm just like, I'm not eating healthy, crazy, get me McDonald's.
So the fact that you know how addictive and how negative from a psychological perspective, mindlessly doom scrolling, as they call it, mindlessly scrolling on Instagram or TikTok is. And despite me knowing how unhealthy a McDonald's is, you still doom scroll. I still eat a McDonald's.
Yeah.
That shows how powerful it is. And obviously it's about, you can't just say, oh, it's so powerful, it's out of our hands. It's more powerful than our self-control. It's not. You've got to take accountability at the end of the day. But it just goes to show how much of a struggle it is to actually lead a healthy lifestyle in this society today.
Discipline.
Even if you're aware of the dangers, trying to navigate through them and try and come out of each day saying, every decision I made is a healthy one. Is a task to do.
And it goes out sometimes just goes out the window. If I have a bad sleep, if my sleep's not very good, everything just falls apart. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, I'm gonna go to the shop and just get some whatever. but one thing is like knowing and like realizing what is happening. Then a lot of people, they're just gonna like cruise through life and just consume, and it frustrates me because like you don't know how good you could be feeling right now. You know,
that's it. I think that's what a lot of people don't realize.
Yeah, I don't know. I try not to, if I'm meeting someone new, if I'm chatting to someone, I try not to like bore them, because I feel I do get like passionate about it. I'm like, come on, man, like do jiu-jitsu, like do something. Do you know what I mean? Like do it. And again, like no one who I've put onto jiu-jitsu has ever turned around and been like, oh no, I didn't like it. Everyone loves it. It's not just because that's the sport. It's because of just the exercise and the feeling you're getting out of it.
Community.
Everything, man. It's exactly what you need. The phones aren't on the mat, like most of the time anyway. The phones are, if they are on the mats, do you know what I mean? No one's like sat there scrolling.
No one's doom scrolling whilst they're rolling.
No.
If they are, they're actually quite talented.
Yeah, absolutely.
Props to them.
Absolutely. But and I think that sense of community, that skin on skin contact, just like a bunch of humans together, like just rolling around, playful, just being it's a very playful thing, but at the same time with a sense of competitiveness as well. I think like that is exactly what you need in modern society to try and like hold on to that tether of instead of the way in which things seem to be going. So yeah, that's another thing why another reason why it gets addictive. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, how did you get into MMA and jiu-jitsu anyway? I'm intrigued to know that.
How did I?
Yeah.
Well, I became when I was in year 9, so I was 13 years old.
Yeah.
I watched the Rocky movies.
Oh, sick.
And I was like,
old school, man.
Okay.
Yeah,
I want to learn how to box.
Yeah, okay,
yeah,
sick.
I want to learn how to box. My mum wouldn't let me go to boxing.
Okay, yeah.
Thuggish. My mum hates violence.
Yeah, okay.
All that stuff, so she wouldn't let me go to boxing.
Yeah, she's thinking of your precious little brain.
Yes.
Yeah, that she...
Yeah. Which, is a fair point.
Yeah,
it's a fair point.
Fuck yeah. 100%.
But then a few months later, I watched Warrior. Have you seen Warrior with Tom Hardy?
Yes. Yeah. Good film.
And that was just a few months later, and I was like, okay, no, this is what I want to do.
Oh, okay, sick.
So at that point, I'd been watching like Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao on YouTube after I'd watched the Rocky movies.
Sweet.
Because it was their era. But I watched Warrior, and I was like, no, something about that.
Yeah.
Not just punching, but kicking and all these chokeholds and grappling and stuff. I was like, that's what I want to do.
Sweet.
And it was probably about 18 months to 2 years later, my mum finally let me start kickboxing and doing a bit of no-gi at like a local place.
Nice.
And from the ages of like 15 to 18.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I only trained like twice a week, but I've got to thank my coaches there. They gave me a very good base, despite quite limited training time and being very young. You know what I mean? I wasn't training to compete. I was just training for fun.
Yeah.
So I trained in no-gi and kickboxing at a very small gym local to me between 15 and 18. That gave me a good base. Went to university, got a girlfriend who kind of discouraged me from the gym, just wanted to spend all the time with me. So that fell away, that slipped away.
Holding you back.
Yeah. Dark times.
Yeah.
And that pulled me away from it. And then even after that relationship ended, I didn't really go back into it. I was focusing on my degree.
Yep.
And then around about that time, I started thinking about what I wanted to do for a job. And I was doing a law degree, and I thought, okay, I guess I should become a lawyer.
Yeah.
And then I watched Suits. It's funny, isn't it, how much movies influence you?
Yeah, man.
Because, I watched Rocky and Warrior, and I wanted to be, UFC champion.
Yeah.
And then I watched Suits, and I was like, I want to be a corporate lawyer. That's where the real
social
gravitas
learning, man.
in life
social
is.
Learning, yeah.
Yeah, that's where the top of the hierarchy is.
Yeah.
So then I went on the path of pursuing corporate law and all of that stuff. Wasn't training whilst I was doing that.
Mm-hmm.
I got my training contract for my place at the firm in London.
Yeah.
But there was a gap year between me finishing my degree and then me doing law school, because they fund your law school for you. You do it under a specific program for the firm, all that kind of stuff. So I had 12 months to kill.
Okay.
And I thought, okay, I'm gonna start training again.
You just went balls to the wall, man.
And it was that. And obviously I'd still been a fan of the UFC this whole time. I'd been a fan of the UFC since I watched Warrior.
Yeah.
I'd been a fan of the UFC the whole time, but I'd fallen out of training. But I was still, you know what I mean? I was still watching the fights every weekend. I was still a massive fan. So I'm trying to remember what it was that spurred me to start training again. Yeah. But it must have just been, okay, I've got the time now. I've got nothing to do for 12 months
Happy days.
until I start law school.
Yeah.
And I watched Joe Rogan, found out that Dan Hardy was opening a gym. Pretty close to home. That's half an hour away.
Actually perfect, mate. Yeah.
And actually, tell a lie, my brother told me about Dan Hardy opening a gym because he'd heard it on Joe Rogan. And I watched the episode, so I'd like to give credit to my brother.
Sick.
And then I just went up there one Monday, and the rest is history. Started training, 4-5 days a week. That quickly turned into 6 days a week.
Yeah. Sick.
Law school came around, was very unenthused by it.
Yeah.
Then, my time to move down to London and actually start lawyering came around.
Yeah.
And the priorities had just completely...
Yeah, man. Yeah, absolutely.
On their head.
Yeah, you got to pursue what you love. Like,
exactly.
Passionate about something.
It goes back to that. It goes back to that. I struggle to put effort into anything that I'm not truly passionate about.
Absolutely, yeah. I never want to be in a job that I don't want to be in.
Exactly.
That's going to kill me. That's going to kill me. Like living for the weekend, stuff like that. If you're doing 9 to 5 and you're not happy, or you've not at least like got some like real outlet that you can just let yourself go in through like whatever sport that may be. That would be my worst nightmare. That was my worst nightmare. Yeah. And I don't think I'd let myself get to that. So I'd quit. But nah, enough of this.
Well, I don't think I could because I did 5 months at the firm. Stuck it out. I could do 5 months because I knew there was an end date because I knew I was going to leave. And I spoke to the firm, they're very understanding. Got it all hashed out, and it was 5 months that I was actually down there. But looking back on it now, there's no way that I could go back into a 9 to 5.
Yeah, okay.
9 to 5, 5 days a week, long term. Not that I couldn't do it for a month or 2 months or even 6 months or a year.
Yeah.
But if I didn't have anything else to pursue and it was like, this is what you're faced with for the rest of your life until you're 75 years old, I'm not doing it. I'm going out into the mountains.
Yeah.
Learning it on the fly and just living as we're supposed to.
Yeah, man.
As we're supposed to.
Yeah, man. 100%. 100%.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Spear in hand. Fishing, hunting.
Yeah, sunning your genitals, man.
Yeah, that's it. Just lying on your back, opening your legs. Letting the sun do its work.
Yeah.
You'll be a picture of human health.
Yeah, we've lost
clarity of mind.
Yeah, I think I saw you follow that guy called Carnivore Aurelius.
Yeah, he's good. He's good.
And I think you might have shared something. Anyway, I looked at it and I was like, this page is like pretty sick actually. Like it kind of jives with a lot of what I like to. There's something about sunning your genitals. And I'm like, what's that? What? Like, nah, surely not. And I was in France for the summer, and you got like some nice sun in the mountains in the summer. So yeah, man, just gave it a go, and I was like, I don't know. I was pretty horny the rest of the day.
Right. Yeah. And this is probably where we're gonna lose a lot of people if we haven't already lost them yet. Because this is going more and more left field.
Yeah.
But it does me. It sounds crazy.
Yeah.
But there's so many not ancient scriptures, although I'm sure it's detailed in ancient scriptures as well. They found cave drawings in multiple places all over the world, ancient cave drawings and engravings, which are depictions of people sunning their genitals.
Yeah, man.
So this was a practice that humans had been doing tens of thousands of years, if not longer.
Yeah.
And mate, that year, because I came about it through Carnivore Aurelius, but some other like influencers in that space, if that's what you want to call them. And obviously, I just love spending time in the sun. Anyway, who doesn't?
Yeah.
Tried it. If you want just my personal account of it, I felt amazing.
Yeah, man.
And then if you want the scientific evidence to back it up, I had my blood work done that year. My testosterone and vitamin D was through the roof.
Right. Okay, cool. That's cool. That's good to know. Yeah, that's cool to know.
Through the roof.
Yeah, man. Yeah, absolutely. I don't know. Yeah, just general. Same with the ice baths and stuff like that. You just feel like a little bit upbeat maybe for the rest of the day.
And the science is coming, the people that need the science that can't do it, because at the end of the day, to me, it's common sense. I don't need a study to tell me going out into the sun is good for me. We've lived under it forever. It's our energy source. It's our life source. It's how plants grow. You don't think it's how humans grow? And thrive. Ice baths. When were we having a warm shower?
Well,
10,000 years ago. When were we having a warm shower? Not in England, we weren't.
No.
If you're maybe having a warm dip in the sea if we're near the equator.
1 or 2,
So the fact that ice baths, I don't need someone to tell me that cold water is good for me, because cold water, we were always exposed to it, and we had to expose ourselves to cold water. And like you said, it's all evolutionary. It's how the body adapts. The mind and body adapts to make use of the situation that it is placed in. And we've been placed in the earth since the dawn of humanity and before. This is the environment we've evolved to live in. So sunlight, cold water, all of these things, you don't need a study. But if you do, the studies are now coming out. People like Andrew Huberman are bringing light to them in a really good way, I think. Talk about the benefits of cold exposure and again, waking up in the morning, getting outside, getting sunlight in your eyes, how important that is for your sleep, all that stuff.
And not being stacked on top of each other in this. I live in Nottingham now for uni, and I live in like almost not like a block of flats, but like there's people around, like living on top of me, next to me, whatever. The fact that I don't know, I've never seen the people that live above me, freaks me out. Like, I feel like there's probably a part of your brain which doesn't quite shut off, like your amygdala, whatever, the ancient part of your brain, your fight or flight, whatever, your animal center,
parts of the brain.
Like, we evolved in small tribes. We're supposed to live in small tribes, like modern living, city living, not knowing all these people that are living and existing around you, walking down the street. There's thousands of people like walking towards you. Like, it's just, I don't think it's the way forward. I think it's really, it's not good. It's not good. And you were saying you went to London and you didn't like it.
No.
I would never live in London, man. Like, even Nottingham, like, I picked to go to uni, I could have gone to uni in like Manchester. I lived in Manchester for a little bit, to be fair, when I was a bit younger, just for only like 6 months or something. But like, it was just so big. I'm walking around, I'm like, it's too much. It's like, there's too much going on. There's too many people. Some people love it. Some people thrive in it. I don't know. I just think,
well, there's something about it that it gets your adrenaline going.
Yeah,
because that's what drew me to London in the first place.
Yeah.
Like I said, I've been influenced by, what I'd seen on TV. I was like, that looks like a powerful, that looks like a powerful lifestyle. Power was the word. That looks like a powerful lifestyle. Because it wasn't that I thought, that looks like a fulfilling lifestyle. It was different to fulfill. It wasn't, it looks fulfilling, it looks meaningful. It's like, that looks cool, that looks powerful. It looks like a pinnacle for sure. And you go to London, I'd go to London, go to open days at a variety of firms. You'd get off the tube, massive skyscrapers, the hustle and bustle. It gets your adrenaline going. You feel like you're part of something bigger. And it feels like the center. This is the place
you're
to
at
be.
The core of what's going on.
You're at the core and you're at the height of what's going on.
Man.
So I understand why people like it. But the difference, for me, the difference between going there for the day and experiencing that, and then having to live there. And I did change as a person a lot on a deep level between, like I said, getting that contract and then actually moving down and starting the job. But for me, then living there was a whole nother ball game than just going there for the day. It was like, no, I want to wake up in relative peace and quiet. I want to be exposed to the sun. I want to wake up and see a tree, not this flower in a plant pot. And I looked at plants in plant pots. Trees embedded into concrete, and I thought, we are exactly the same. You're not in your natural environment. And I'm not either.
Absolutely.
That's something that I thought regularly.
And
it's true. It's true. Whether people want to admit that or not, it's true.
Yeah, man, absolutely. I think cool thought I had the other day actually was like, like mushrooms have like mycelium that like spreads over the whole earth. I kind of feel like as just a thought I had the other day. I was like, maybe like humans are like a little bit of an extension of mycelium. Do you know what I mean? In some way, all connected in some weird little tether. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I listened to a little bit of that mushroom guy you had on. What was it, like a week, like the other day?
Great.
Yeah,
goes out foraging.
Yeah,
eats
okay.
mushrooms.
Yeah, I listened to a bit of that. I'm actually growing my own lion's mane in my room.
Oh,
yeah.
Whoa, you grow lion's mane?
Yeah.
Cool.
My mum got me a little lion's mane pack for Christmas.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm growing a bit of lion's mane around. But like, estate agents probably come around showing people around like, wow.
The place just full of fun.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Nah, but it's cool. The lion's mane sounds like the ultimate mushroom. Do you know what I mean? It sounds like, it regenerates your neurons, it gets your brain more or less back in order. People use it to almost like reverse some signs of brain damage and dementia.
Yeah. I read about it a while ago. I don't have on hand.
It's because you've not got the lion's mane in you, bro. That's
it. That's it. I'll be able to recall everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, it's definitely something that's becoming quite prominent. Lots of people taking lion's mane supplements and that kind of thing, and seeing good results.
What supplements do you take?
So cost is obviously a prohibition.
Yeah.
With this, there are some that I would experiment, things like Sistanch, Tonkatali, those kind of things. That are more kind of like biohacking ones that are less fundamental, that are more biohacking. That I'd like to try at some point. If I had a bit more money to experiment with them,
mate. If I won the lottery, I'd be straight down to Holland and Barrett.
Yeah.
Give me all the
To be completely honest, and this goes against what we've been saying about being natural and everything. But if I won the lottery tomorrow, I'm straight on the TRT, straight to ADCC.
Yeah.
So I'm nothing but a hypocrite.
Yeah.
But in terms of what I take, so my supplements are quite minimal.
Yep.
Because I get pretty much everything that I need from my diet.
Good stuff.
So I used to take a multivitamin. Don't take that anymore. What I do take is vitamin D.
Yes.
Because none of us get enough sunlight exposure.
Especially through the winter, man.
Especially through the winter.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah, they tell you the limit's 4,000 IUs. For a few years, I was taking 5,000 IUs a day. I brought that down to 4,000 IUs. If I have an illness or something, I'll rocket that up to like 20,000 IUs.
Yeah.
Don't experience any side effects from that. I've recently started taking boron, because there's lots of studies, because boron is a difficult mineral to acquire because of the the desecration of the topsoil. The soil that food is grown in is nowhere near as nutritious as it used to be. Because of crop cycles, it's just getting churned over and over again. It's losing its quality. Boron is something you'd get from the soil. So a lot of people that are taking boron are seeing really good effects, especially on the testosterone levels. And I've got to admit, I heard Chris Williamson saying how he had his blood work done, and I forgot what company it was with, but he was able to double his testosterone without taking TRT through numerous supplements that this company recommended. One of them was a pharmaceutical grade magnesium that had a better absorption rate, and the other was a boron supplement. So that was the thinking behind adding a boron supplement in. But other than that's all I'm taking at the moment: vitamin D and boron. Obviously, I suppose these classes supplements as well: taurine, creatine. They're your aminos that I have, along with whey protein in the morning to bump up the protein numbers.
Yeah, of course.
But like I said, most of it I get from my diet. So I have a lot of raw egg yolks, which are like nature's multivitamin. Everything from choline, vitamin B, E. They've got almost a little bit of everything in. Liver. Everyone knows me as the raw liver guy. That again is nature's multivitamin. Abundant in vitamin A, which again is something that's very difficult to get. Abundant in vitamin A, copper, which is very difficult to get as well. Steak, you've got all your B vitamins, you've got your zinc, you've got your iron, and then raw milk as well. I drink 2 litres of raw milk a day when I'm not having to cut weight for competition.
Oh shit!
Again, abundant in vitamin A.
2 litres.
2 litres a day.
Dang.
And it goes down like water. It was difficult at first, but it goes down like water now.
Raw milk.
Yeah.
I drink whole milk. Yeah, I drink whole milk. I don't drink raw milk.
I'll have to get you some, because obviously when they pasteurise it, basically all the nutrition gets taken out of it.
Right.
Obviously you still got your proteins, carbs, and fats.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of vitamin A in raw milk, vitamin D as well, and obviously all the good bacteria as well. That all gets taken away.
Yeah. Okay.
And then some other foods as well. that I have raw honey, so honey that's not heated. That's got lots of antioxidants, lots of antibacterial properties. So and thankfully, I can't pretend to be the mastermind behind this. My brother's very deep into nutrition, so he helps guide me a lot on this stuff.
Yeah.
But I've got a diet where I get pretty much everything I need. And like I said,
perfect.
All I'm taking at the moment, a bit of vitamin D and boron.
Okay, sweet.
What about you?
Oh, it's just vitamin D, really. Yeah. Like some omega-3. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Again, like I'm skint. I'm skint.
That's cost is a
man. Yeah. But I've got a good diet. I just eat pretty clean, like 90% of the time.
What do you like to eat on a
day-to-day basis? Man, do you know what, man? Everyone is hating on me right now and has been since I started uni. Maybe it's the age difference. I don't know. I'm a slow cooker guy, man.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I like
put it in
slow
there in the
cook
morning.
Oh,
forget about it.
All the ingredients you're chucking in. Do you know what I mean? I chuck in my meat, whatever, some veggies, some spices, some seasonings, all that sort of stuff. Do that in the afternoon. Come back from training, battered at like 10 at night, and I've got a meal ready. What's wrong? What are you hating on me? What's wrong? Oh, sorry. You want to go and like cook your meal there, eat it. There's like not enough.
That's the thing.
They're
not going home and cooking your meal because they're getting McDonald's on the way home.
Ah, exactly. Sure, go for it.
Why cook something slow yourself?
Exactly.
Homemade,
when you can have it now.
Can cook something quick for you.
Exactly. When you can have it now, but. Yeah, no, like I do just anything in the slow cooker, whatever it's curries, chilies, all that stuff. Quite heavily meat orientated, and same thing more or less every day. Just like before I go training, some like feta, olive, stuff like that. Basically, like anything that Eddie Abu says. Basically,
like he's a great guy. He's a great guy.
I like it.
He's doing a lot of good.
I like it. And there's people hating on him. I'm like, I don't know, man. Like I think what he preaches is good. Yeah. And he's very open, like he did a lot of steroids back in the day. He's a bodybuilder, that was his thing. But look at him now, man. The guy's, I don't know how old he is, probably in his 60s.
Yeah, I think he's 60 years old. Shredded.
Looks good.
Jacked.
Another good one, that silverback Tarzan. Do you follow him?
No way.
Do you know?
No,
you're going to like him. You're going to like him. Yeah, man. No, the guy who's like, I don't know, he might be on TRT, to be fair, I'm not sure. But he's like, he must be at least late 50s, 60, jacked, like just handstands, like a lot of calisthenics, good diet. He's just another one of those personalities that you're seeing coming through on Instagram now. That's the good thing about the social media and using that as a tool for bettering yourself. There's so many. You can gain again perspective, which is a good thing from so many people. Like people living different ways, feeding like new relevant information that people can use to like better themselves and things like that. Just unfortunately, like a big, just a majority of it is just mindless, processed information. So.
But he's adding no real value to
it. But it's so good to look at.
Yeah, it's so enjoying. The dopamine circuitry.
It's so good. Yeah.
Just giving you
Mate, you're fighting. It's you versus like a supercomputer. Do you know what I mean? And like these companies, whatever, Meta, Facebook, they are spending billions just so they get the psychology of the app correct. They've got the money to spend on the people that know how to manipulate your pathways, your brain pathways. What's going to keep you coming back? I think. Have you seen the Social Dilemma on Netflix?
No.
Okay, it's just smartphone, social media documentary about some guy. I think he worked at Google or something, or Facebook, and he quit the job because he didn't like the ethics that were going on behind the scenes. And he was saying basically they spent millions getting the exact shade of blue for the Facebook logo that's going to hook you and keep you coming back. Bang, straight off the bat, before you've even opened the app, you're getting like some crazy shade of blue that's going to get you in, and then suddenly from there do you know what I mean? Yeah, then you're away. And it's the induction of the reels and stuff like that as well. That just like quick, you don't even have time before the next reel's up, and it's a completely different thing. And it knows exactly what I want to see. I've had it a few times recently. I'm about to put my phone down, like I'm done scrolling now, I'm about to put my phone down, and then bang, they just they just throw down the wild card, and I'm like, whoa, God, there's a cat like dancing or some crazy. I don't know. I like it. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it's dangerous. It's dangerous. What's also interesting as well. Have you seen like the difference between TikTok in China and TikTok in like the West or like the UK? Okay, no. So they've got TikTok in China. TikTok is like Chinese, right? It's like some Chinese.
Yeah, it's owned by ByteDance.
Yeah. So TikTok in China. So TikTok in UK, US, whatever in the West. It's all, just girls shaking their ass, whatever, just mindless shit. People dancing, doing stupid dances. Whereas like TikTok in China is all about like reaching your potential, academic pursuits, sports pursuits. They're using the same technology to build up good habits and good, like a powerful population. And they're using that same technology over here to just like degrade us. Do you know what I mean? To send us in the wrong direction. I heard a good one today on Joe Rogan. He was saying like, if you take two ships and you turn, you take two ships and turn one of them off by a degree, and like let those two ships continue on, like after a period of time, like one ship's going to be on this track and the other one's going to be like way off over there, just because you've changed it like by that one little degree. I think that's kind of maybe what could be happening with things like TikTok and stuff. They're using that maybe as a little bit of a weapon to kind of like tear away at the fabric of the society over here, whilst they're using that same technology to build themselves up. Maybe. I don't know. I listened to a bit of Alex Jones. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, I don't know. I like my YouTube. I get lost in my YouTube, my podcast, everything. If I'm rocking around, like I don't really listen to music too much. I'm just listening to podcasts, which I think is good. The only thing I do worry about sometimes is like, what is this constant information flow doing to my brain? Because you're non-stop bombarding yourself with information through your ears like all day, and I think it's good because I'm learning different things, and
I know what you mean though, because I do the same thing. Yeah. I watch a lot of, or listen to a lot of podcasts, and then sometimes I think, when's too much?
Yeah.
When am I consuming too much information?
Yeah.
And most of the time it's because I'll listen to audiobooks. Robert Greene. Like books on Stoicism by Ryan Holiday, that kind of stuff, and then podcasts like Chris Williamson's, Andrew Huberman's, Peter Attia, and other doctors and scientists. All good information. And then like I'll listen to an Andrew Tate podcast. Yeah. And then that leads to another Andrew Tate podcast. Yeah. Okay, so I've spent the past 3 car journeys listening to Andrew Tate, and I like a lot of what he has to say. It's very motivating. I think he does have a good message. Some parts more than others. Yeah. But that's not educational in the same way. No, it's not benefiting me in the same way that listening to an Andrew Huberman episode on the benefits of caffeine or how to prevent colds and flus, a longevity episode by Peter Attia, that kind of thing. It's not benefiting me in that way. I'm not expanding or advancing myself intellectually. Yeah. That's more in the enjoyment category. Yeah. And again, someone like him, like I said, I do like a lot of what he has to say, but you got to listen to that with a very conscious mind. Absolutely. Because you can't take anything with gospel, but someone like him, he has some good things to say and he has some bad things to say. Yeah. And you've got to have your mind switched on so you can filter through that and go, give it the smell, give it the rub test and go, I think I should take that away. That's a good thing to take away. That's probably not so good. He's probably just saying it to be controversial. Yeah. Whenever I hear there's a controversial personality in the whatever sphere of what's going on, do you know what I mean? I always like to, if they're trying to be censored, if there's something going on with them, I'm like, okay, cool. I'm going to look at this. I'm going to look at this as objectively as possible. I'm going to go away. I'm going to listen to them long form. I want to hear exactly what they have to say, what exactly is they are preaching. That's it. Not the 5-second reel that you saw on Instagram. No. The full in context. Because they did it with Joe Rogan, man. They chopped him up in thousands of hours of him talking. They chopped it up into like 10 seconds of him saying some crazy shit. And people formulate their whole idea of who he is based on that.
if people chopped up what I'd said, I wouldn't have any friends.
There'll be some sound, but you can take a lot of
what we
said on this podcast.
No, I've kept it clean, so I've kept it clean. I'm like, who's going to listen to this shit? I better not. Like, but anyway, yeah. If people chopped up what I'd said over the course of years and put them into a reel, I wouldn't have any. Like, no one would think I'm a decent person. I think I'm a horrible person.
No one who hasn't said something
exactly
in private that if it was taken out of context and put in the public domain, that someone wouldn't go, oh my god, they're a heinous person. Everyone, it's just you don't have a microphone in your face.
Exactly, and that happened with. And when before in human history, have you had anything being able to be recorded and broadcasted on such a big level?
And obviously, people like Joe Rogan, and now us. Yeah. Well, we're choosing to put this out. So you obviously are taking it on yourself. But it doesn't mean it's such a grey area ethically. How do you navigate it? Because we should have an honest conversation. Yeah. This should be honest. Yeah. And maybe we will say things that could, maybe we'll say things that aren't going to benefit people. Well, number one, we're imperfect. I don't think that means we just shouldn't say anything in public. Everyone's going to be silent. No one's perfect. But as well, we can't sit here and have a discussion and try and have an honest discussion whilst making sure we don't say anything that could be taken out of context and sound-bited in a negative way. So I don't have the answer. I don't have the answer. But sorry, I interrupted you. What?
No,
they've done it with Joe Rogan.
Yeah, man. They chopped him up, and then it does paint a bad picture. So when this happened, Andrew Tate coming into the sphere, and people talking about him, and he's going viral on whatever all platforms. I don't know. I'm like, who's this guy? Okay, he's saying some crazy shit. Interesting. Like, that's like, what else is he saying? What else is going on behind the scenes? You know what I mean? So I go away and I listen to a lot of it long form, and like, okay, like I can see what's happened here. Like this guy, man, like. Even like it is hard to say, isn't it? Because like if you are listening to something Andrew Tate related and someone like gets in the car, then you're like, I'm not listening to that. It's like, come on.
It's taboo. They've made it taboo.
I just want to hear what like this guy's saying. Like just because everyone thinks someone should be censored, like doesn't mean that I'm not allowed to go and formulate my own opinion and go and listen to whatever. But I'll do it with everyone. It's the same. It's not just for him. It's for everyone. Yeah, it's an extreme viewpoint, and and I get it. It's influential. People are listening to him. Children are listening to him. They're getting like the wrong ideas because they're children are very easily like manipulated, or not manipulated, but impressionable influence. So I get it. It's not good. Like that is. I think he's really changed his tune. Like this was like years ago that he was saying
that's it. That's the problem because it was only recently that I actually saw some older content from his back in the day, and I thought, oh my god, what? No, this is clearly very misogynistic. I don't like this. Yeah, but you contrast that with the content he's putting out now. It's very different. The content he's putting out now is a lot more. Some people are going to think that's crazy saying Andrew Tate's content sensible. But it is a lot more sensible. Yeah. It's a lot more positive. He's filtered out a lot of the negative misogynistic stuff that he used to talk about. But then that's another thing as well. People want to say, oh, you shouldn't take positive influence from the positive parts of people's messages who have done horrible things. That's a hypocritical viewpoint to have. Yeah. Because everybody, you know what I mean? You'll listen to a song from somebody that got put in prison for a heinous crime. Yeah. Mike Tyson, obviously there is some controversy about whether he should have been convicted. Some people dispute that. But Mike Tyson's a convicted rapist. Yeah. And people, widely love Mike Tyson now and take a lot of positive influence from what he has to say. Yeah. There's countless examples. You will listen to a song, you'll watch a movie that involves an actor or a singer, it involves somebody that has done something heinous. It doesn't mean you can't take positive influence away from it. And that sounds bad, but it's true. We all do it. Yeah. So it's not that you should just disregard several things that people have done. Yeah. But it's difficult. It's difficult dealing. Again, going back to it, it's over information. We're exposed to so much information now. Trying to sift through that and decide, for every piece of information that comes our way, every piece of content, whether we should consume this or not, whether it's good or not. It's a difficult thing to do.
Yeah, and so if you're labeling that as bad, as a bad role model, as a bad like influential person or whatever it is, you know, if that's bad and it's not allowed in the mainstream and it's, you know, it's different, it's a different idea, it's bad, then you look at role models, people that are allowed on TV, are allowed to produce content for it, like Cardi B or Nicki Minaj. Is that setting a good example?
Yeah.
I don't think it is, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think it's setting a good example at all. But I think like having the freedom to, it's all down to freedom of speech. They're having the freedom to choose. You as a human, everyone should have their own, you should be able to formulate your own ideas on what's good and what's bad yourself. You know, like why are you listening to, I think mainstream media is falling down. It is coming to a bit of a collapse. Do you know what I mean?
I hope so, because it's not news.
Nah.
The media, mainstream media today, is not objective journalism that it used to be.
Yeah.
Whatever that kind of faded away. It's now heavily procured to give you a certain message.
Yeah.
Almost every news site, every media site is politicized in some way, and they all have their agendas.
Yeah, man.
And more importantly than anything, they just want to get you to click on it. They're trying to be controversial.
Yeah, absolutely.
The news isn't the news anymore.
No, it's not at all. And yeah, I mean, I think like, everything to do with whatever happened with COVID and stuff like that just absolutely just brought everything to light. Do you know what I mean? It's like, what is going on here?
You've got the Prime Minister of the country, the leader of the country,
man.
lying to your face. And people still have trust in the government.
Yeah,
I'm not saying you can't trust everything.
Yeah,
you can't, not trust everything
yeah.
the government does.
Yeah.
But, God, like, run it through your brain a bit before you blindly follow whatever they tell you to, because it's been proven now that they've lied to your face.
Mm-hmm.
They've lied to your face, and they've told you to do something that they either don't believe in themselves or they're deliberately manipulating you.
Yeah.
Either way, it's, you know,
it just
they haven't told you to do something out of the goodness of their heart and with sincerity and integrity.
Nah, it just gets washed away. Everything gets washed away. Oh, look at this. Oh, like we've got this war now. I think the war in Ukraine. You've got the Israel-Palestine conflict. Everything just gets washed away in the river of just going on. Globalization. Everything's happening on your phone. You get washed away. Things happen. Do you know what I mean? Like topics change from day to day, and things that don't get put to justice just get lost in the ether. Which is what Russell Brand does a lot. He's still reporting on things that did happen during COVID that people have just forgotten about. He'll sit there with a big stack of papers and he will like, okay, this happened, presenting all perspectives. And he's very well read and he's very knowledgeable. And I feel like he was poking the bear a little bit. Do you know what I mean? He was bringing up some topics that maybe some people weren't, didn't want to be shared. So, and then they tried to shut him down as well. And like,
that's it. Yeah, people have tried to
shut him down. Like, why? Why can't we formulate our own opinion? Do you know what I mean? Like, why does it have to get censored? Why do people have to get shut down? I think it's very dangerous. I think it's very bad. Cancel culture.
Yeah,
it's a big problem. It's a big problem. I think you should have autonomy to be able to choose what you decide is true or false, what's right and wrong.
Yeah. I can't say freedom of speech is something I've like thought about to the point where I'm happy to kind of give a definitive opinion on it. My instinct is you should be free to say what you want. But freedom of mind is, to me, unequivocally something that we all have a right to maintain.
Absolutely.
We all have the right, we're all entitled to be able to formulate our own opinions. Sorry, I'm still getting them. Mentioning COVID, still getting over COVID.
He's ill.
Flamming up.
He's coughing on me during rolling. I was
like, we have the right to our own freedom of mind, to not just be told something and then have to take that as gospel, but to be able to form our own opinion on it. And if we have the right of freedom of mind and freedom of speech, automatically goes in tandem with that, I think, because how do we formulate opinions? Through discussion, through people saying things, through consuming content. And funny, content now is like the word we use. It's not content, it's consuming information. It's just content is the social media. term basically now for media of any kind.
Yep.
So yeah, we're all entitled to freedom of mind, to formulate our own opinions, and by virtue of that, we should then be entitled to say what we want.
Yeah, I've never actually thought about it as two separate constructs, but yeah, maybe what I'm referring to more is freedom of mind. You should be allowed to at least take information away. You should be allowed access to all information. You should be allowed to take that information away, and decide what you think is the outcome, whether it's good or bad or whatever. You want to take it, leave it, talk about it. You know, like freedom of mind. That's a good sort of construct, I think, to go by. So yeah. But I don't know, mate. We're trying to set the world to rights or whatever, as they say. It's true, is it? Hey, and that's what's, you know, this is content. You know, like the podcast is content. So yeah, it's all just like adding to the plethora of whatever's going on out there in the imagined
the ether.
The ether, exactly, man. Yeah, exactly. People that don't know, me and Aaron, like. Man, we've been in the trenches. We're like rivals.
Yeah.
We've 3-4 matches, maybe.
Three on official paper. That's how you want to put it. 3 in official competition.
Yeah, man.
Many more now on the mats.
Yeah, mate. Crazy.
When did you start getting into jiu-jitsu? You asked me.
Oh,
when did you start getting into jiu-jitsu?
Man. Right. I started with MMA. This is a good one. I had sex with someone I shouldn't have, and I got beaten up. I was like, and it was like,
oh really?
Yeah, it was halfway through that. I was like, she's probably not to fight. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Well, that's a story in itself. That's a long story.
That's a great origin story.
Yeah, no, it's funny, man. It's funny. Yeah, it was crazy. Like we're like me and the guy. Like I've not talked to him in years. Shout out to Jake if you're listening. We've not talked in like 10 years, and I don't think. But yeah, if you hear him,
he's the guy to beat you up.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah. It's funny. Like I was around my mate's house. We were all like having a smoke and that, and I got a text message, and this dude was like, "Yo, I'm fucking coming to fuck you up. I'm going to kill you." I was like, "Oh," he's like, "I know what you did." I'm like, "Oh."
This is such a noble origin story. You started MMA, so you were able to sleep with men's girlfriends.
Well, not quite exactly. Yeah, but now if I do it now, I'm just like, all right, unless you train, do you know what I mean? So he rocked up like with all his mates and just like
all his mates.
Yeah, man, because I was with all my mates.
So he wasn't that confident.
It was a crazy, and he boxed a bit and like. It was just the whole time me apologising. I was like, "I'm sorry, bro. No, I shouldn't have done it." And he's just trying to kill me. And I'm like, "Oh man, like I should probably learn."
What was the end result? What was on the scorecard?
It was like, mate, I lost decision. Yeah, I definitely lost decision. But
10-9.
Oh mate, I wasn't fighting back, bro. I was like, I get it, man.
That's very noble.
I was like, I get it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, him and this girl who him and this girl, like they'd been broken up not a long time, and like we were all kind of in the same friend group, and yeah, it was a bit messy. And yeah, me and this girl ended up being together for like a year or so after that. So it wasn't just like a quick thing. It was like it was worth it in a sense. And like I just realised I was like, this guy was coming for me, and I'm just like, well, like I'm not fighting back. I'm in the wrong. Do you know what I mean? It is what it is, and I ended up it made me realise I didn't come away like super hard. It was on a beach actually, like a full moonlight. I remember it now in Suffolk. Yeah.
On a beach in moonlight.
Yeah, bro, it's gangster. Yeah.
Cool origin story.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So he's coming for me. We're on the beach. Like this lasted for like an hour of like him. Like he's trying to get to me, and my friends are holding him back, and then his mates jump on my mates, and like everyone's scrapping and stuff, and like right by the sea. It was sick, man. It's actually like a movie scene. So yeah, that lasted for like an hour or so. I think he just got bored and just fucking, he was like, "Fuck you, I'll catch you some other time." Do you know what I mean? And I was like, damn, a week later I was training. A week later I started MMA. A week later I was like, I need to know like how to fight. If I'm going to keep banging chicks. No. I was like, I need to know how to fight.
How old were you at this point?
Just about to turn 18. Yeah, just about to turn 18. And and then 6 months later, I had an MMA bout. It wasn't official. It was it was like a no head contact, one of those like sort of charity. It wasn't a charity thing, but yeah, I'm not on Tapology. That was cool. Lost decision. I'd only been doing it for 6 months, and like, yeah, it was interesting, and I've been hooked from there basically. And then, so you could say I started almost a decade ago. So I started just before I went traveling, and then since then it's been so sporadic. Like my train, when I do ski seasons in France, that's 6 months of the year where I just did no training whatsoever. And so it's been on and off the whole time. And then one day I was back from traveling, visit my parents for a bit, and I went to go and start training at a boxing gym. I knew they also did jiu-jitsu in like a room downstairs. I'd been into my MMA as a whole. I hadn't decided to go down one path specifically yet, and I was about to walk up the stairs to go to the boxing gym, and I was like, oh, I'll see what they're doing in the jiu-jitsu. Popped my head in, kind of like had a look around. People just getting ready to train. I was like, and some dude said he was like, yo. He's like, are you looking like, what's up? Are you looking for jiu-jitsu? What are you doing? I was like, oh, nah, man. I was just popping my head in. Like, I'm going to the boxing gym upstairs. And I'm not, I was like, I had my mind set on doing that basically. And this guy was just like, why do you want to do jiu-jitsu, man? I was like, what do you mean? And so he's like, like, don't you want to learn how to, he just gave me, I can't remember exactly what he said, but he gave me a convincing argument, like, oh yeah, like I do. It made me. I was like, oh, maybe I do want to grapple, especially with like all the breakdancing and stuff, the snowboarding. It makes sense. Do you know what I mean? And I had my boxing stuff with me and my gloves, and I was just like, actually, do you know what? Yeah, I'll do the jiu-jitsu class. That same guy, actually, I bumped into him at ADCC. He was in the change division, actually. He's in the pro division now. Yeah. Called Dusty Mellis from Portsmouth, I think. So yeah, I bumped into him at ADCC, and I ran up to him. I was like, yo, I've not seen him in years. And I was like, yo, I don't know if you remember me, man, but like, you're the reason I'm here today. And he's like, oh shit, Matt, like, he recognised me, remember who I was. And I was like, yeah, man, like, thank you for giving me that little speech and like convincing me. Because if not, I would have gone to the boxing class and I don't know what would have happened. That's when I started doing jiu-jitsu, like on its own. And I've always done a little bit. I've always been sprinkling MMA in there as well. Just kind of took off from there. And now I'm floating back. I float between jiu-jitsu and MMA. The one thing that does concern me about MMA is like just getting hit in the head. It's not good. It's not good. It's not good. And when I do spar, I like to play. I like to get my I like to play. Trusting your training partners who you're sparring with is always like super important. Do you know what I mean? I like to like sit back, and just see where things go. I don't want to get like involved in scraps because you're just depleting your brain health in the gym when you don't necessarily need to for the fight. Fair enough. Do you know what I mean? You're going in there for a fight.
Yeah.
But in the gym, I just like to sit back and play.
McGregor had a great quote on that. He said, upgrading the software without damaging the hardware.
Yeah, okay, yeah, man, absolutely.
If you have a fight coming up, of course, you've got to be in the trenches.
Yeah, man.
That's when the sparring should get harder, but I like that approach.
Very much so. Yeah, I agree with that. That's very cool. Yeah, that's very cool.
Especially up here, man.
Yeah, mate, absolutely.
Jack up your knees if you want. You can get knee replacements. As of right now, you can't get a brain replacement.
No. So yeah, I've always had that in mind. But yeah, I love jiu-jitsu, man. That's amazing. And it's just, I don't know whether it's the sport, I don't know whether it's the people I'm hanging around with, or I love being down the gym. And like I said, like I come to Nottingham now, I'm living in Nottingham. I've never lived somewhere for so long, realistically, like 3 years. And I've become like, the gym, like Knots MMA, is just like, I love it. Like it's so, everyone down there, I like walking in and saying hi to everyone. Just everyone's there to just have a good time. Like it's nice energy. And even down here, like I've only been down here twice, but I like walking in, like Jimmy's. I love it, man. Yeah, so it's cool.
We were saying it before we started recording, weren't we? That our gym, HW1, Hardy Warhead and Nottingham MMA. There's obviously always been a crossover.
Yeah.
But it's feeling more and more recently that we're almost one team.
Yeah,
in a way.
Yeah, man. Yeah, 100%.
There's a generation of us coming up that are looking to compete, whether it's in jiu-jitsu or MMA. Yeah. And because we're so close to one another, and that, there's so many of us around the same age, same skill level, etc. It's a good vibe.
Yeah, a lot of that I think is Riley. Riley's because obviously he's between us. Yeah, shout out to Riley Daniels. Shout out to Riley. Yeah, he's really sort of bringing it together, and he's giving me some lifts down here and that. And yeah, man, very talented prospects, man. I love, and Riley's got so much to offer in terms of like knowledge. It's really cool. So yeah, he's just awesome dude to have around. So yeah, and I didn't see myself really ever stopping. Like I stopped with the breakdancing because like I moved back to the UK. I moved to Suffolk, and there was no one doing it there. It was a big thing down south, but it wasn't really a big thing there. So that's when I found myself without a passion for a little bit. And it took me getting my head kicked in a little bit to be like, oh, maybe I should start fighting. And then now I'm just like, I'm fully into it. And wherever I go around the world, I know that I can walk into a gym and I'm going to meet people that are like-minded. It's just such a great tool to have wherever you go. So yeah, I love that.
And do you have any goals as such with it? Because what's struck me, we're not going to get to talk about it all today, but there's so much of kind of like your athletic career that we haven't got to go into yet. That'll be a story for another time. But what's struck me from what we have talked about today with the b-boy stuff, parkour, snowboarding, is that I don't think you necessarily do it because I want to get to this level and compete and attain this accolade. Yeah, it seems like you're just in love with the craft of it and in love with the lifestyle, getting better at something and enjoying it. Is that the case? And is that the case with jiu-jitsu and MMA?
Yeah, man, 100%. If I go to if I started competing in snowboarding, I'd probably lose the love for it because I snowboard because I feel like I can express myself. It's a very expressive art form. Just whatever the way maybe you dress or the way you tweak out some grabs or you do some just the way you ride on the mountain. It's very expressive of who you want to be. Same with the b-boy, it's very expressive, and I believe as well it's the same with jiu-jitsu, the same with MMA. You can really express yourself to a certain degree, whatever your style of jiu-jitsu is. Your style of jiu-jitsu, you're expressing yourself in some way. Solid clamp, the human clamp is what I like to call you. That you've been you get your car clamped or something. You're like, oh, I'm not getting out of it.
It's grabbing onto your ankle, man. Like having your wheel clamped.
Yeah, absolutely. Whereas me, I'll be a bit different. To be a bit, I'll do a bit of clamp and then I'll do a bit of loose passing.
Yeah, you're very
some fancy stuff.
You can see the influence from your, and I think you definitely do seem to me like you're obviously you've curated it and developed it as well, but you're naturally a very explosive person, and I think that's probably aided you very well in things like parkour, breakdancing, snowboarding, and that's what I always say to people. Anyone from the gym asks, "Oh, what's Matt like? Is he strong?" I'm like, "Yeah, he's strong, but even more than that, he's explosive." Right, he's got fast strength to him. Yeah. I don't explode into things. I'm strong. Yeah, it's like you said, a clamp. It's a slower isometric strength. Yeah. With you know what I mean? It can be. You've done three movements in the space of a second. Yeah. And then sometimes they're all very explosive.
Yeah, we saw that ADCC. I was just like, wow, wrestle.
That was a rodeo.
Yeah, man, that was a cracking match. Yeah, let's go across him. Connor, man, he's a player as well. He's good. He's good.
Yeah, I competed against him.
Have you? Oh, okay, sick. Yeah,
a few months ago. He's good.
He's good, man.
Lost the close decision.
He's a player, man. He's a real player. It's funny because we were hanging out with Molly McCann just before that match because our bags were next to hers. She was sound as well. Shout out Molly, she's so cool. Yeah. She was there, and I knew that I had a guy from Next Gen, and I was like, "Yeah, I got this guy who's from Next Gen. Is he good?" And she was like, "Yeah, he's good. You're gonna have a good match." And I was like, I wanted to be like, "No, I never heard of him." He's probably not that good. That was that's. I just need to work on my cardio a little bit.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah, we'll have to get that in, man. The conditioning sessions.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Yeah, and keep doing these cross trainings as well. These Sunday rolls as well should be good. Hopefully.
Yeah. Now that I'm actually in the secret group chat.
Yeah,
so I can actually participate in these secret sessions.
Bro, honestly, I'm looking around. There's I think Shane, Big Mac, Joe Taylor, Jimmy, like these just people I think like that's
we need to get some smaller boys in.
I know, mate. I'm gonna get absolutely crushed. Yeah, man. Yeah. So yeah, that's a real like even in like the UK kind of scene. Like you look at these guys and you're like, wow, man, this is like an actual pleasure to be surrounded with such high level guys. Yeah, no, it's fantastic, and yeah, being able to kind of like just hang out with almost like superstars like in the grappling sort of sphere on a daily basis is cool. So yeah, no, I'm fully enjoying it. Especially my time in the Midlands has been it's been good, man. It's been really cool. I don't know what I'm gonna do next, but whatever it is, I'm gonna make sure it's interesting. Yeah, if that means getting on a plane somewhere, doing some crazy shit, or just I don't know. I might try and get a little job. I might try and settle down and see what it's like to have money instead of being skint my whole life. Yeah, that would be nice. We'll see. They'll buy some supplements and get jacked.
More supplements.
I'm like, could do some more testosterone. Like why not? Anyone could. So yeah, man, we'll see. Yeah, bro.
We could talk for hours.
Yeah,
unfortunately, we're limited by
absolutely
life of my phone.
Yeah, now we can save the like Brazil stories and stuff for another day.
Yeah. You'll have to come back on.
Yeah, bro, that was a crazy one.
Yeah, we've gone down some rabbit holes today.
Yeah, bro, good stuff.
We'll have to see what the reception is because it's very different from like the usual kind of formal episode that I do.
Yeah, man.
So we'll have to see if we get cancelled. We're either gonna people either like it or we're gonna get cancelled.
Come on, man. Let's go. Yeah, no.
Freedom of mind. People should
absolutely,
listen to this
mate. Absolutely, yeah. I think there's a lot of value in just listening to people talk. I think, yeah, and as like we've been saying and we've covered, like we're straying away from that quite a lot. And yeah, but this is how humans are supposed to communicate.
Exactly. You know? Not everything's gospel. Not everything's clear cut. You've got to talk, discuss ideas. Absolutely. And somewhere in it, you might find some truth.
Yeah, man. Cool. Bro, thank you for having me on, man.
Legend.
It's been very much fun.